My brother and I flew all the way across the country to surprise our mom for her birthday.
You know, had to do a thing. If I can get it out.
And none of this would have been possible without trading. I'm gonna walk you through the simple 9-step system that we use and how we actually executed this system in the airport before getting on the plane.
Activated in this trade here. Flight's about to board. Stops move to break even. Like I said, flight's about to board here in a second. I'll update you guys on how this trade executes here in the next couple. About to close here. I'm just gonna take that, chat.
So if we look at the start of November, you can see that we're up $29,000 on the month, and we have absolutely been snapping this month with only one red day. Not to mention, we missed out on 4.5K on this day because I messed up my copy traders. And then yesterday, we only took trades on 3 accounts out of our 6, just because, you know, we was on the flight and things were getting a little hectic, and we were still able to make 1.7K. I'm telling you, this system works, and it is a dime. Let's get right into it. So the first thing we want to do is make sure that we're trading the New York session from 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is going to be very, very important. We trade this time in particularly because of the volume that we see happen consistently throughout this time. So if we come over here to the charts and we go to our, let's say, our 30-minute time frame, and we pull up this indicator here that says FX market sessions, this is going to pull up the New York session, right? You can just see for the past 10 sessions just how much volume we have in that New York session. And because we've had this volume during these New York sessions, we've been able to capitalize on our system. Our system needs volume in order to drive the markets, which is going to give us our best risk to reward, which is going to give us our best trade. We wait for 9:30 because this has the most consistent volume day in and day out. And the assets we're going to be trading is either gold, US 30, NAS 100, and the S&P 500. On the future side of things, that'll be YM, NQ, and ES, right? Those are the assets that we're going to be looking to trade. So what we need to do, first thing that we need to do is we need to check my FX book for any news events for the session. This helps us spot potential volatility, and it can be good to know depending on if the account allows news trading. We always want to go ahead and check for the news. Not only is the news important on a volume basis to actually drive the markets, to actually give the volume in the markets that we can actually capitalize on the move, but it is important because some accounts you cannot trade news on. So I know for my take profit trader account, I'm not allowed to trade the news or specific news events being CPI, FOMC, NFP, and it's just 2 minutes before, 2 minutes after the news. So making sure that we identify what the news is for the day is very, very important, because if there's no news for the day, that can potentially indicate that the markets are going to be a little slower. We've seen on Wednesday this week, or Tuesday this week, excuse me, that we had Veterans Day. There was no news. The US markets was closed. The markets were choppy in our session time, and we just didn't get a banger move. But that's okay. We already anticipated that based off of knowing that it was going to be a bank holiday, and knowing that the markets were going to be closed, and knowing that we didn't have any news. Like, all of these things were in my brain beforehand. So I already knew coming into the markets that, hey, we're probably going to be a little hands off today, or we're going to be a little risk off because there's not a lot of volume in the markets. Yesterday, on the other hand, we had a ton of news drop. So we knew yesterday that we were going to have volume, which is why we executed on the trade that we did, that I'm going to break down for you guys. So first thing we want to do when we get to the charts, we want to identify the direction on the 5-minute time frame. So let's actually go and start executing on this system based on how we execute. So I'm gonna put these up side by side so you guys can see just how we execute on it as we go through the actual steps. So the first step is identify the direction on the 5-minute time frame. We're looking for which direction the volume is. So if we take a look here at the NASDAQ yesterday during session and see where the volume was going, as of right now, we can see on the 5-minute time frame that we're clearly creating lower lows and lower highs within this structure. To identify this better, you can dial up to your 15-minute time frame and then hit the line chart, and you can start to see that price was in fact creating a lower low and lower high by breaking through this low here. We have that bearish volume to the downside. This is an indication that price could go down in session. This is not saying that we're going to look for sales. This is just saying that the current volume in the current direction is currently going down. That's all we want to know. So after you do that, you want to go ahead and check this off, right? And you guys will be able to get this blueprint in the link down below. Just comment blueprint and I'll send it to you, or you can scan this QR code here Get it completely free. Okay, so the next step is dial down to the 5-minute time frame and mark out our key zones. This will be our area of resistance. So what we want to do here, and this is what I do every day at 9:20 in the market. So 9:20 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, this is when I want to start marking out my areas of interest, because this is where I'll find where price needs to break in order for me to be able to execute on a trade. So we dial down to our 5-minute time frame, and what I'm going to do is, you can see that this is the 925 candle here. So what we're going to do is we're going to zoom into this area here, right? And we're going to set our resistance at our key high and our key low. So what is a key high? What is a key low? A key high for me is indicated by when price creates a low, a lower high, and then a new lower low. This is the key high because if price breaks through this, it will flip the structure from being bearish to now being bullish. So that is where I set my key high at in terms of my area of resistance. And again, you can pull up this line chart to make it seem so much more clear for you. But for me, I know that that is right here. So I want to see price break above this area right here, and I'll generally set an alert. You'll see me set an alert for this. And then for my low, I want to set it at the key low, which is the lowest point that price just made. Again, you can pull up your line chart here. You can see that this is the lowest point. And what I want to do is I really want to bracket price in on that 5-minute time frame. I want to form a box. Where's my key high? Where's my key low? And then we move on to the next step. So let's go to the next step and see what that is. So we dial down to our 5-minute time frame, knock that out. Perfect. Now, we want to wait for price to close above. So it says wait for price to close above or below the key zone on the 5-minute time frame, depending on if price is bullish or bearish. So in this case, we have to wait for price to either break below the low or break above the high. So we wait, and this is why we wait for the 9:30 open, right? 9:30 open, boom, we close below this low on the 5-minute time frame. You need to wait for the candle to close. It has to close below. Once it closes below, then we can move on to our next step. So it says after the 5-minute candle closes, enter your trade on the first 1-minute candle that closes in the direction on your trade. So you wait for this 5-minute candle to close. After you do that, you want to dial down to the 1-minute time frame. This is very, very crucial that you do it just exactly how I'm explaining it to you. So you wait for the 1-minute time frame after that. So first 1-minute candle to close bearish, that's where I'm going to be looking to get in at. This was our candle. So you can see on the recording, this is where we actually executed on our trade. So what do we do after that? We enter our trade after the first 1 minute to close in our direction. We were looking for a bearish move. This candle closed as a bearish candle. This is the key signal candle after that 5-minute candle closes, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to take a sell from this area here. We're going to actually set a sell stop, right? And then what I'm going to do, what does the next step say? So we just hit this here. What does the next step say? It says set your stop loss safely above or below the current 1-minute candle. So the 1-minute candle that we take our entry on, that's also going to double as our stop loss location. It comes with a built-in stop loss, and that's why we execute on this system the way we do. You can see this here. And I'm just using this for regular terms. It's only $100, but we ended up risking like, $300 to $400 on this trade. And then we go to the next step. So once we do that there, here, I'll discard this. We're going to set our stop loss above this area high. I don't want to set my take profit. We're going to explain why we don't set our take profit here in a second. So we're going to confirm this. And now we're entered in on this trade. So what do? We check this off. What is the next step? And you literally just have to follow this step by step. We got this blueprint down to the nitty gritty to where it is only the most crucial things that you need to know to be able to execute, right? So you guys are seeing, I'm going through step by step exactly how I execute every single day. This is not subjective. We have members taking the same trades I'm taking from across the country, and I don't even have to know exactly what it is that they're looking for because they know exactly what it is that I'm looking for and how to read the markets. So we could take the same trades and I don't even have to send it out. We hop on a session every single day. You can join the session, link down below if you want to. You can join our private mentorship where we teach this every single day. We execute on these principles every single day. We get funded. We take payouts. It is a great time and a great atmosphere. So if you guys want to join our private mentorship, the link is down in the description. You can fill out the application and see if it's a right fit for you. We want you to learn how to trade. I wouldn't be in this Airbnb being able to surprise my mom without this 9-step system. Like it's bigger than trading. This is life design. It's living your life on your terms. So, I'll let you guys do with that what you will, but I'm telling you, this is about life design. It's not about trading. It's bigger than that. The once you realize the profits and you get to see the fruits of your labor, I'm telling you, it feels like a game when it's just numbers on the screen. But once you start pulling out money and you start applying that money in different areas, it opens up so many doors. So let's keep it going. So what do we need to do now? We want to set up our trade here, right? We set up our trade, stop loss above the high. Yep, entry right there. And what we want to do is we want to do the next rule. So what the next rule says is that we want to set stop loss to break even at a 1-to-1 risk to reward. So once price hits a 1-to-1 risk to reward, you completely take the risk off the trade. So let's see. First candle opens up, it pushes down. And generally speaking, I'll set an alert at the 1-to-1 risk to reward. So boom, 1-to-1 just got hit. Now what are we going to do? We're going to go ahead and move stops to break even. Okay, so now that we move stops to break even at the 1-to-1 risk to reward, what is the next step that we have to do? We need to wait for the 1-to-2 risk to reward to be hit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this out now to a 1-to-2 risk to reward, and we're going to wait for that area of interest to be hit. So right at that 1-to-2. And the tool that I'm using here is the long and short the short position, right? So you can come over here to, I believe, forecasting over here, and then you could favorite long and short position. These are two crucial tools that I use every single day. And generally speaking, I'll use this horizontal tool to set it at the 1-to-1 and then have an alert to it so that when it hits the 1-to-1, I'm alerted and I can move stops to break even quick, fast, and in a hurry. So what we want to do is wait for that 1-to-2 risk to reward to be hit. So we're going to let this play out, right? And this requires patience. You need to have the discipline to be patient enough to just let this play out. We're going, it's going, getting close. Hasn't quite hit our 1-to-2. Boom, it just hit our 1-to-2. Now, this is why I don't actually set a take profit. Now, what does it say? What does our last step say? Right? This is the last step in the 9-step system. It says take profit after the first 1-minute candle to close in the opposite direction after the 1-to-2 R's hit. So we just hit our 1-to-2 risk to reward, right? We made double what it is that we risk. And now we're going to get out on the first candle that closes bullish. Why are we getting out on the first candle that closes bullish? Because it is the first candle to close in the opposite direction of our trade after, keywords, after the 1-to-2 is hit. So 1-to-2 hit. You can see price push down a little bit more. And this is where we would have gotten out right there. And this is the same exact system that I use every single day. I promise you, it is so simple. Don't overcomplicate the markets. Just be patient. We're generally in and out of the markets in literally less than 10 minutes each day, right? So you got to have the patience to execute on just this and then have the discipline to just wait till the next day and come back and do the same thing, right? That's all you have to do. That's all I've done. Let me rephrase that because that's all I've done. So you can see the results that I've gotten just by utilizing this one system, right? Just by utilizing this one system. Let's just pull up one Apex account, right? Let's just pull up one Apex account. So if I did other here, right? Or no, I go to accounts, right? We go to my Apex account and we go to not just this month, let's go all time, right? I've had this account since the beginning of October. And since the beginning of October, I've been able to make over $11,000 on this one account. But I only started with this one account. What did I do with this? Once I got my first payout, I invested in more accounts. Then I ended up getting more funding. Now we have over nearly $750,000 in funding and 10K days. Like we went from making 1K days to 10K days just like that, utilizing one simple system, right? You can see we've only had one red day this month when it comes to all of our accounts. So we go all accounts and we go this month. You can see $29,000 on the month so far and only one red day, right? And that's not to mention that we didn't risk fully on this Thursday, right? Didn't copy trade that and didn't risk fully yesterday because we was in the airport and we had to close early because our flight was boarding. We would have hit take profit if we, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I just want you guys to understand that like you don't have to overcomplicate this system and 1 to 10K days can happen like that for you. You just have to be able to have the discipline to execute each and every day on this one simple system. So I catch you guys in the next video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys got some value out of this. Be sure to like and comment one thing that you learned from this video. I want to hear it. And if you guys want to see more content like this, be sure to let me know in the comment section below. You can grab your free blueprint in the description, and I will catch you guys later. Peace.